Hey guys, Scott here. Today we're going to talk about something a bit different from normal, and it's going to be about this little tiff between Video Game Dunkey and, I guess, the entire Sonic fan base. If you're unaware of what's going on, Video Game Dunkey is a YouTuber. He makes funny videos, usually about video games. Most of his videos are just shitposts. They're simply meant to make you laugh. You're not supposed to think anything more of them than that. But every once in a while, he does something called a dunk view, which is a legitimate review of a game, usually actually more in-depth than most journalists, and a lot of people respect him for those reviews. They still lean towards comedy a bit because that's just his style. But for the most part, his regular videos are just shitposts. So recently, he made a shitpost about Sonic Frontiers. And he did kind of trash on the game, and it was a funny video. And understandably, fans of Sonic are upset that a big content creator shit on their game. Let's be real, Sonic fans have not been eating good. I played Sonic the Hedgehog was the first video game I ever played on Sega Genesis in my basement in New York. Some of the fondest memories I have. Sonic 3 and Knuckles flying through the Doomsday Zone. Oh my god, as a little kid, that shit was insane. The last good Sonic game I played was Sonic Mania, which was basically just the old games, but in a modern form. So clearly that style of game, I think, works super well for them. But let's be real, Sonic as a franchise, it ain't no Mario, it ain't no Zelda. It's had far more failures than successes. And so when they finally got a game that's actually pretty decent for once, and they see someone shitting on it, it understandably results in a lot of people kind of getting upset with that content creator, even though he's obviously entitled to his own opinion. But it's not really about that. It's mostly about the very end of his video where he shows the user score for Sonic Frontiers, the Metacritic user score, which is essentially a useless metric, and then compares it to other games that are, I'll just say this blanket statement, clearly better than Sonic Frontiers that have a lower user score. The entire point of this was to just draw out the comedic comparison value that, hey, I guess Sonic Frontiers is better than Elden Ring or something like that, which, I mean, even if you didn't like Elden Ring, you just can't lie to yourself and look at that game and go, nope, Sonic Frontiers is better. Like, you just, even if you don't like the game, I'm that way with The Witcher 3. I didn't really like The Witcher 3 that much. I get to Skellige every time and I'm just like, I don't want to play this game anymore. The combat is kind of whatever. But at the very least, I respect the game. I take a step back, I take an objective standpoint on the game and see, okay, well, I still understand this is a very well-made video game. It's not for me, but damn, I respect this game at the very least. And that's all I think he's really, expecting of people that watch his videos. You still have to look at the game that you're playing, in an objective way as much as you can. And all he was saying with that is, you know what, this game is not quite as good as Red Dead Redemption 2. It's not quite on the same level there. And I think that's fair, and I think there's comedy in pointing out the comparison and the hilarity of how ridiculous Metacritic users' scores are. And so the backlash there is that he was apparently incentivizing a hate mob to review bomb the game, and now Dunkey is Satan because that's what he wanted to do. First of all, this is a very dangerous line that comes from just people assuming shit. The first thing you have to ask is, if you're accusing Dunkey of sending people to review bomb a game, just ask the logical question. How does that benefit him in any way? Do you think he's sitting behind his computer editing his videos going, I'm finally going to destroy the Sonic franchise? Like, what does he benefit from having the review score of a game lowered? Absolutely nothing. There's no benefit. So it's the simplest explanation that that's not what he was intending to do, because it doesn't benefit people. People are inherently self-serving creatures. If it doesn't benefit him, why the fuck would he do it? It makes no sense at all. So people are saying that he, even if it's not his intention, he incentivized some type of hate review bombard rate. Also, as an aside, I thought like they completely tanked the rating of the game. It's lowered by 1 point. I'm sorry, not that. 0.1 points. It went from 8.8 in his video to 8.7. This is what people are freaking the fuck out about. 0.1 on a useless metric system dropped. That's just an aside. People are allowed to say that they don't like things. They're allowed to say, hey, I don't think this game deserved this type of rating. That's pretty much what he was saying there. He just was saying, I don't really think that Sonic Frontiers deserves to be rated higher than a game like Elden Ring on any metric whatsoever. And I think that's a fair statement to make. It doesn't deserve that. I don't think you can really, with a straight face, say that that game is better than Elden Ring, even if you didn't like Elden Ring. How could you possibly make that statement? So it's a ridiculous thing to say, and that's all he's trying to say with it. The problem is when people start making assumptions about what a content creator is really intending when they criticize something. By that logic, you could really extrapolate any criticism of a game whatsoever into an attack on the game or an order to do something towards the game. In his Elden Ring review, he said that some sections of the game were too hard. Does that mean that he wants people now to start review bombing the game and saying that the game's too hard, we need an easy mode or something like that? There's a really fine line that we have to not cross. Otherwise, people just simply won't be allowed to criticize anything anymore. Because really all it takes is a popular person to say they don't like a thing, and other people will start saying they don't like a thing. It doesn't matter what their intentions are. That just comes with being a person that a lot of people look up to and follow, and there is no getting around that. Do you think if he actually said, by the way, guys, please don't review bomb Sonic Frontiers after the video, that people would just not review bomb it? No, half of them would double down, review bomb it even more, and then half the people that wouldn't do it to begin with would just do it out of spite because it's just people on the internet. I think that would actually have the reverse effect. So people that are virtue signaling so much and saying, you should have told people not to review bomb the game. You have to realize that him saying, please don't review bomb the game would make the situation worse, and I guarantee it. You just have to accept that if a popular content creator does not like something, that piece of content is going to get shit on by people that follow the content creator, and that's just the way the world works. You have to accept that. At the very least, just get upset with the viewers that he has. That's fine. I wouldn't even be making this video if people were just saying, hey, Dunkey's viewers are stupid or something like that. It's the fact that there are hundreds of quote retweets attacking Dunkey in particular, saying he had malicious intent behind making a shit post for a video. That's what annoys me, and that I think is a line that we can't cross. Otherwise, people will not be able to criticize anything anymore. I see the comedic value in comparing the user score of a game that's very clearly worse than other games it was compared to. I understand that it's funny. I get the comedy in that, and that's the whole point of that. Finally, as an aside, the whole Metacritic user rating system is completely and utterly worthless in determining the value or overall quality of a game. It is just entirely controlled by things like review bombing and fan bases that are more likely to vote on something to defend it. Things that are part of franchises with, very emotional and invested fan bases will typically have more ratings because most people are not going to go out of their way to just go to Metacritic and rate a game's user score because most people just don't care. If you play a shitty game, most people are not just going to go, oh, I need to spend, the next 20 minutes of my day writing a review on Steam, writing a review on Metacritic. No, they're just going to uninstall the game and just do something else. They don't care. But when you have very invested fan bases, you typically have a disproportionate amount of discussion and review about that topic. And so that is why the user scores are typically really, really all back and forth. Now, I don't make my decisions on purchasing games based on Metacritic user scores because I'm not a fucking stupid person. There's no reason to look at that number for anything. That metric is worthless. It's not even worth it to game developers. There's that whole infamous controversy with Fallout New Vegas not getting a bonus because the Metacritic score didn't exceed a certain value, but that's the critic score. The user score has nothing to do with any of that. It's completely controlled by emotional people just do whatever the hell they want, and if you use that to judge a game's quality, I think it is extremely silly, and you need to not get upset if that number is moving around by a bit. Also, I must reiterate, it's dropped by 0.1 points. 0.1. That's a 1/10 of a point. Why are people freaking out about a 1/10 of a point? I don't understand. So overall, I think this whole situation is silly. Dunkey was very clearly making a joke. He had no incentive to make, an order to review bomb or anything. Him having that game get a lower Metacritic user score benefits him in no way. Therefore, there is no reason he would do it because it makes no sense. And people, I think, need to try to lay off content creators bearing the responsibility if they just simply criticize something or show that something did not deserve what it got, in their opinion. I think most of this simply comes from Sonic fans that are happy they finally got a game they enjoy and they see someone shitting on it. That's really what it boils down to. It's people that are emotionally invested in something and then they're seeing someone else shit on that thing that they frankly love. And that can be frustrating. And that's where all this, anger comes from. I don't think it's from a point of logic or reason. I think it's from a point of, hey, we got something good and now someone's shitting on it and I hate that. I think that's really just what it boils down to because But judging opinions off of a Metacritic user score is just so silly. It's barely changed. And I don't know. I think I just want to just talk about that because I find this whole situation utterly ridiculous. And that's it. Thanks for watching.